Hi there. Welcome back to Learning Subfolio. In this episode, I'm going to cover migrating from Submittable. If your organization currently uses Submittable to process submissions and you feel too entrenched to change platforms, this episode is for you. We've designed an import that moves everything useful from Submittable into Subfolio. You can run the import multiple times without worrying about duplicating data, and it's possible to start with just the scaffolding of your Submittable, without submissions, to get a feel for Subfolio with your real calls, forms, labels, communication templates, reader and editor accounts, and more. At any time, whether it's during the first import or the last, you can import your in-progress submissions and your full archive. The import can bring over the files, form responses, notes, messages, review forms, assignments, and labels, so you can pick up your review again almost immediately in the new system. Subfolio makes it seamless for submitters too, if you choose to let them access the status page from Subfolio. Submitters that have an account in Subfolio can see the status page right away, and submitters that create an account and verify using the same email can see the status page too. It's also possible to transfer imported submissions if a submitter would like to see the status page but uses a different email for Subfolio. Let's start by looking at how you get to the import. When you first sign up for Subfolio, the first thing you see after onboarding is this Import from Submittable option. When you click Import from Submittable, it will bring this up. You can also get to the import page by going to Advanced Settings, then clicking Import from Submittable. On this screen, you're prompted to give a link to your Submittable admin and to create a Level 5 account for transfer@subfolios.com. This account will be used to actually transfer the data out of your account and into Subfolio. It's not used for anything else. If this box doesn't appear, that means our system already knows your Submittable subdomain. If our system already knows your subdomain, the page might look like this. For us, let's enter it. And click Check for Invite. Once your invite is verified, you'll see a page that shows all of the different options for import. You can choose to import your account seats, your user groups, all of your labels, all of your response templates, your submission forms, your projects and categories, your received auto replies, your review workflows, your review forms, your submissions, your submission assignments, your submission labels, the submission details and files, the messages, the notes, and all of the submission events. Certain options here are also necessary to enable others. For example, if you disable submissions, it disables everything related to submissions. And if you disable submission forms, you can import your projects and categories. Let's import everything except for submissions. I'll re-enable groups, labels, response templates, submission forms, project and categories, received auto replies, review workflows, and review forms, but I'll leave everything related to submissions off for now. And I'll click Continue. This next page has even more options. You can see that some of them are disabled because we're not importing submissions. For every imported account seat, we can choose to send an invite to let them access the system. We can schedule the calls that we're pulling over from Submittable. And we can set the form imported from Submittable as the active form. If you were importing but already had your categories set up, you might choose to not change the active form. But for now, I'll enable this. At the bottom of the page, we can choose Start Import. If we were importing our submissions, we could also choose submissions, the assignments, labels, details, messages, notes, and events, and click Continue. When we do that, we're given the option to choose the archive scope. For example, we can import only active submissions, or only the archive, or both, which is the default. We can also choose whether we want to only import open submissions, only import open or accepted submissions, or choose all of them. When we import submissions, we're also given some other options. For example, we can make imported submissions visible to the submitters, so that when they log in on Subfolio, they can see their status pages. And you can preserve the submitter archive status. which means that if they've archived the submission, it will still be archived on their account in Subfolio. Many organizations, for a first import, will choose to only bring in the users, groups, labels, response templates, forms, projects, auto replies, review workflows, and review forms. If you also bring in your submissions during a first import, you can choose to keep them invisible, and then when you do a final import, choose to make them visible then. You won't be duplicating any data by doing that, you'll just be changing the status. I'm back to only the scaffolding, and now at the bottom of the page, I'll click Start Import. It tells me the import is queued and I'll receive an email. And then it brings me back to the main page. If you click back on the Submittable import while it's still running, you'll see a page like this telling you it's still in progress. Imports that are just for scaffolding can take as little as 2 minutes. When the import is done, you'll receive an email like this that goes over everything that was created. You can see the counts for all the editors, you can see how many labels it created, how many forms, etc. It tells you whether it sent invites to your users, and it tells you what the next steps are. Especially for organizations importing more submissions, once your import is done, it's important to actually reload the page. You can see the filter here says October 1st, 2025 to today. In your organization, it might say yesterday to today if you just joined. If you reload, the system automatically moves back that date. To look at your open submissions, you can leave it on this open. And to see the archive, you can click Archived. You can also filter for accepted in your archive, declined, and withdrawn in your archive. We have other videos in this Learning Subfolio series that go into the actual search and how to use it. If you choose not to send invites during the import, you can always choose Invite Imported Readers later. This button only shows up after an import, and when you click it, it will send an invite to every one of the users you've imported. Each of the users has the same permissions they had on Submittable. If you choose to import the review workflows, the system will import one per submission project you have, and it automatically makes it the exact same way you had it on Submittable. If you have custom review forms, those review forms will also be pulled into the system. If you import your labels, they'll be imported as tags in Subfolio. If you're also importing your submissions, the submissions that are labeled will be tagged appropriately. If you choose to import your templates, all of your templates will be imported, and all of the variables will automatically be transferred into Subfolio variables, which means you won't have to edit them to correct them. If you choose to import your projects from Submittable, all of them will be created as calls in the system. If you edit one, you can see the review workflow is automatically set correctly. If you also choose to have the system schedule your imported calls, there will be one schedule made for each different category. In this video, I'm going to mostly skip the importing submissions side of things, but I will show one aspect of importing submissions, transferring to different accounts. On an imported submission, in the Actions tab, there's a new Imported Submission Actions list. And here I can transfer this submission to a different portal account. When submitters write to our support, we automatically do this for them. But if they write to you, you can always transfer a submission to their other email. For example, if on Submittable they submitted under one email, but on Subfolio their account is under another. If you click this, you can see it brings up this modal that shows the email address they currently use and an option to move all related imported submissions. So you can change the email address of this submission to a different one, and you can move all related submissions in your organization to that other email address. When you're ready, you can click Transfer. In our experience, this hasn't been common, but it's important to know this functionality exists. Our import from Submittable is totally free, and we don't limit the number of times you run it. If you're looking to try Subfolio, use our free trial and try importing everything but your submissions to see how it feels to use the platform. Since it takes so little time to get everything imported, it's easy to get a real feel for what the platform can do. Once you're in, you can also see all the different ways Subfolio can help improve the process. Or, if you're more confident that you'll be using Subfolio going forward, you can import everything and get the full transition done in just a few hours. Because the import is so comprehensive, if you import your account seats and your submissions, including in progress submissions, you'll be able to move the full review over from Submittable to Subfolio. Since the submitter status page has the full message history, the submission form exactly as it was submitted, including all files, and everything else, The transition for submitters is smooth too, even if that submission was in progress in Submittable. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope our import from Submittable has helped make the idea of migrating a little less daunting.